Hi everyone. Today I'm going to explain you about how we have to write a research article. So I'll explain you with taking this title or taking this particular paper in mind. So let's have a look about optimization and fine tuning of DenseNet model for classification of COVID-19 cases in medical imaging. So we all know the impact of COVID-19 has been, increasing and increasing day by day. So we need some particular technique that classifies COVID-19. So this particular paper is written in correspondence with that. So at first, if we see, we have to write about the abstract. So I'll tell you about the basic flow of research article. So it goes with abstract, then we go with introduction, then we go with materials and methods, what we have used. Then we go with experimental results. Then we go with our evaluation, what part we have evaluated, that thing. Then we'll go with discussion, conclusion, and at last we have references. So while writing about introduction, in regard with this paper, I'll explain you the introduction part. So introduction part is going to consist of actually who is reading the paper is very new to this. Maybe he or she is new while reading the paper and is unaware about the concepts. So it's very essential to mention about what is COVID and how it started and what is pandemic. So everything. So introduction first mentions about the pandemic situations, how it started, and how COVID was born into our lives and everything about COVID. Then it also talks about other diseases. So other diseases also include SARS and other those diseases. So COVID-19 is eventually, it is eventually bought from SARS itself. So that is how COVID started. Then moving towards next, we write about how COVID-19 can be detected. What are the existing techniques that detect COVID-19? And you can see here the statistics of actively growing COVID-19 cases. So at that period of time of writing the research article, the scenario was this. So we have also written the existing scenario of COVID-19. Then we have written about the speed of COVID, like what is the, the level, how COVID is spreading over the world. So the progression of COVID, the increase of COVID, we have to mention about that. So then after completion of introduction, we move towards related work. What related work have been done by other authors in the using the same, using the same topic. So we did a very keen analysis on that, which is important. Related work, or you can say it as literature survey also. So it mentioned all the techniques that had been covered by other authors and what results they got. Yeah. Then next we'll move towards, so first we saw about introduction, then we saw about literature survey. Now next we'll see about materials and methods. So in materials and methods, our first key point is our image X-ray dataset. So writing about the dataset is very essential so that whoever is reading the paper gets to know that what exactly the dataset contains, how many images are there, and how many things we have evaluated. So after writing about the dataset, next point will go for pre-processing, that is image scaling. So from here onwards we start about how we have done coding and how we have evaluated, how we have built our model. So first step to build our model was pre-processing, that is image scaling. So we have written about what views we have taken while doing the chest x-ray and what we have considered. Next, it talks about data transforms, that is data augmentation and normalizing. So this is a technique to increase the number of images, as we had less number of data sets. So data augmentation offers us to increase the image number of images. So we had used that technique. After that comes image labeling, that is training and validation. And then comes the model architecture. So how our architecture, how the built model architecture look like. So we had used DenseNet architecture for our particular model, and we used a deep learning approach. So while writing the model architecture, you need to write about what is deep learning and how it is going to enhance our model. So that is the basic theory. And we are using DenseNet. So why we have used DenseNet and how it is better than other models. So even that is necessary to write, that how DenseNet is going to enhance our model rather than using other models. So then next, coming towards model architecture, in model architecture, we have introduction to DenseNet. So what is DenseNet and everything, introduction about DenseNet. Then we have a concept of transfer learning. So it again talks about what we have done while building our model. After transfer learning, we have image visualization, and we also have fine tuning, that is early stopping these concepts we had used while building the model. Then we have mechanisms based on DenseNet, and we have this main architecture, as you can see on the screen, that transfer learning for DenseNet using chest X-ray images. So this was a particular flow of our model, you can say. So it includes about the image, we have to input the image to the model, then it does image scaling, image labeling, then it goes towards normalizing the image. Then we have our main architecture of DenseNet and deep learning. Then it goes through transfer learning, fine tuning, image visualization, and evaluation metrics. Also, we have a deep dense net with two dense blocks. So this is the architecture of dense net. So it explains us that when we input an image, we have number of blocks it passes through, and then we get the required output. After this, next thing is we had used a number of optimizers. So it was an automation of selection of optimizers from number of optimizers. So this comes under results and evaluation part. So while introducing results and evaluation, it is very essential to model how we are going to result. So we have measured our results in terms of accuracy and F1 score, precision and recall. So introducing to these concepts is also important. So we had used optimizers which included ADAMAX, ADAMW, and SGD. So among these optimizers, there's a table below, I'll show you, and that is a proof that the particular optimizer has outperformed. Then this is the thing I was talking about, that is the accuracy estimates for proposed model. So this is about the evaluation part, that is training versus how many epochs we had taken for the particular training. So this is the table where we have used number of optimizers and number of loss functions, among which we got ADAMAX as the outperformed optimizer with 98.4% of accuracy. So this was the novelty of our paper. We did automation of fine tuning parameters. Moving towards the discussion part, that is the second last part. In that, we have theoretical contributions as well as implications for practice. So in theoretical contributions, we write about what is the novelty of our paper, what concepts we have newly introduced and everything. And implications of practice talk about how our research paper is going to help other researchers to get through the paper. So that is what implications of practice introduce. Then we have conclusion and future work. So we have concluded by saying that we achieved 98.45% of accuracy by using automation of fine tuning parameters, and ADAMAX, it outperformed from others. So that's it. So to sharpen again, we had an abstract. Then we went to the introduction part where we went through the spread of pandemic and COVID-19, then how other diseases were spread, how COVID-19 was initially started to detect, then the propagation of COVID-19 and the image processing techniques. So after introduction, we went with literature survey. After that, materials and methods we used, that is the data set and the complete throughout process of building the model. Then this is introduction to the particular model architecture and its related concepts. After that, next is results and evaluation. After results and evaluation, we have discussion and conclusion as well as future work. So thank you.
So, Tabishi, I have a question here. So, if you go to the initial part, right, the introduction, now typically your problem statement talks about fine tuning the DenseNet model, right, for classification of COVID-19 datasets. Now, obviously, the core dataset that we are looking at, looking for is basically the X-rays. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, did you go ahead and include the details of, how did COVID come? What kind of things happened, right? What happened with the spread? What are the different variants that have come, right? And you have also included about the X-ray data set. So typically what happens is in introduction, you will end up putting details about what is the problem, right? What is the problem or what is the concern that we're looking for? What typically the data set looks like, right? And what is it that we are trying to identify? So there are three different things: data set, problem, and techniques. So the introduction basically consists of all that. Now, when you go to the literature review or related work, the related work can be, obviously it has to consist of the problem itself, how people are using how people are solving that particular problem using machine learning techniques and all that, right? And anything else did you add?
No, so that's it. Saran, I have added a glance of what our findings are, what is our novelty. So I've added this paragraph about the novelty of paper.
Got it. Okay. Then you have explained about the materials and methods. So if we take an elsewhere publication, there are four things that they look at. Right? One is introduction. Second is literature review. Third is materials and methods. Fourth, they talk about analysis. And fifth, they talk about demonstration or conclusion and all that. Right. So in related work, we have talked about all the things that have happened with reference to COVID-19, on what kind of techniques people have used. Because in image processing, there are various ways in which they can do, right? Using VGG16, you can use DenseNet. You can use this enhanced net, I guess. Right? And then you have spoken about the actual image data set that we have received. Next, if you just scroll down, then we talked about the processing methods, documentation that needs to be done. Now, in a research article, either you do some changes in the mathematical foundation and improve the accuracy of the model. Second is make that technology in such a way that it can help something which is in need right now, like COVID-19, or you can go ahead and implement the technique that was done on some other use case, right? To be implemented on a use case which has not been implemented yet, something like that. Or you can also, go ahead and use certain set of models that have never been used. Like, say, for example, that comes first time. So can you tell me what is the new thing that we included here?
So we have introduced a method called as early detection or early stopping, as well as we.
So what we did is, as per the title, we went ahead and did the fine tuning, right, and optimization. How did we do that? Is the most important problem comes when you implement an image processing model or an NLP model or an NLG model, right? Wherein each and every model needs to have a fine tuning process. So when you do
Yes.
fine tuning, you have to basically look at the hyperparameters. So what are the different various hyperparameters in DenseNet? Are basically early stopping, loss function automation, and all that. We
Yeah.
have done that. Plus, we included DenseNet, which was not there in any other paper. So there are 2 to 3 different, novelties that we have included in this. And if you go to the last section, right, just before the conclusion, we have talked about all that. So the implication of practice, and before that, if you go to 6.1, the theoretical contribution of the paper. So for all those who are actually writing the paper, I would suggest you to go through this article once at a higher level. You don't have to read the entire article because you all are publishing papers in different use cases and different problems that you're trying to solve, right? Somebody is doing on dynamic pricing, someone else is doing on blockchain, insurance market, right? Machine learning, insurance fraud detection. So and solar power forecasting. So all of your problem statements are different, and the journal we are targeting basically would require this kind of format. Now, the reason why I have kept this session is because this journal, right, and because our paper has gone into this journal, we know the way we have to write so that the paper gets accepted, right? So there are a lot of things that would go into this. Any questions to anyone in the group? Chahat, Sanjana, Lata, Santosh. You can freely ask questions because see later on I don't want you to come back and say that okay, these things are missing, that things are missing. So I want you to ask questions here.
Could you maybe explain a little bit more about implications for the practice?
So Tavishi, you want to take it up?
Yeah, sir. So implications of practice is basically how our research is going to, help other researchers. So I'll read and show you the introduction part of this. So this study will help researchers and educators get a quantitative study of literature. So we need to mention here also that what is the novelty of our paper and how it is going to benefit the researchers who are doing research in this similar kind of topic. So we can mention the novelty as well as what we have done into it.
Okay.
So basically, as the name suggests, implications of practice means if you utilize this, how it is going to help, right? And even for the other researchers, what are the important things that we are looking upon? Is what we are talking about here. And before this 6.2, if you see 6.1, it typically speaks about what is the theoretical contribution that we are having. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to have our own mathematical equation to solve it, but if you see, right, she has written first a deep learning based DenseNet models built from scratch to enhance our model, and then secondly, fine tuning is performed based on the pre-trained works and retraining them to learn about the new features involved in the dataset. Now, so if you see here, typically in brain tumor detection kind of a problem or any other image processing kind of a problem, nowadays people have come up with something called as YOLO architecture. People have come up with this DenseNet architecture and all that. So what happens is they are already trained on some data set. That might be identification of fruits or vegetables or anything, right? Now, when the model is already trained on something, that model is called pre-trained. Now, the point is, can I use a pre-trained model to implement the detection of COVID-19? I cannot use it directly. If I use it directly, obviously it won't work. So what we need to do is we need to pass in the new data set to this particular pre-trained model so that it tries to enhance. Now, if every one of you have read neural networks, it's a very straightforward concept. Neural networks get trained to identify certain classes, right? Or identify certain entities. Now, if let's say you have an existing neural network model which has been already trained to detect something like vegetables, fruits, colors, or whatever, then can you use it for detecting COVID-19? What is COVID-19 basically, right? One data set that we have received. Those are X-rays. Now, these X-rays already have a tagging saying that, okay, this is the image, this is the place where in the lung you can see a COVID-19 this thing patch, right? And what is our objective? If similar kind of patch comes in the new data set, then you can go ahead, you have to go ahead and classify it as COVID-19. If the patch is not there, then obviously you will say that there is no COVID-19. Now, my point here is that the patches will not be same each and every time. The location of the patches will be different. But if you, let's say, take a model which is trained on something totally different, like as I said, vegetables and fruits identification, then obviously what the system will do is the system will retrain the neural network on this new data set, and the weights of the neural network will change. That's the core concept here. Okay? So the theoretical contribution is to add in a new deep learning model, right, based model called DenseNet. And second is to retrain it and fine tune it. And we have also worked on bringing the early stopping concept, right, that has helped us to improve accuracy. That is what the theoretical contributions are. Now, when I say theoretical contribution, it might not be like a new mathematical equation we have invented ourselves. So we don't have to do all of that to go into this journal. Until unless if you want to go for a journal like Cell or Nature, these kind of journals, if you want to go, obviously you need to have a Nobel Prize level research, right? But there are a lot of journals where a simple understanding of a problem and tweaking a problem so that it gives us a better accuracy can go through. Right, so that's what we have put effort here, and our objective in this particular forum, because you all individually are working on different papers, is to go ahead and implement some basic logic. Basic logic in the sense, obviously, it has to have a good use case as such, but you don't have to do something totally different. You don't have to do that, right? Because you are not doing a very hardcore research here. Research has different levels, right? So whatever papers you are currently working on or delivering, keep in mind that the flow of the article should be the one that I am sharing in the group, right? So what I will do is I'll share you a sequence of steps that you need to follow, right? For your paper, and then I'll copy and paste it in the use cases group that we have. And kindly go through that particular format, and we can get going. Any other questions anyone has before we close for the day? After this, I'll stop the recording, and then we can go and understand what is the progress that we are doing on a daily basis. So everybody can speak like 2 lines, and then we can move on.